Agriculture Farms with Brett and Arlissa. We are installing package bees today. We went and picked them up yesterday, and it was a little late in the day, and the conditions weren't really good yesterday to install them, so we decided to wait today where the wind was laid down and where we could get them in. We're on our last 2 packages. 25 packages of bees. You're going to have a lot of bees in the air. 2 packages of bees, you will. 1 package, you're going to be flying a little bit. But the thing is, just keep you cool. Make sure you wear all your protective gear, just so you don't have to worry about getting stung. These bees are not being defensive at all. They're really confused more than anything. If you're not sure how they make up packages of bees, just check that out on YouTube. Do a search for it and see how the producers put a package together. What you end up with the package here is you'll end up with a mated queen in a cage. She's at the end of this little black strap. And normally the bees will come in about 3 pounds of bees. And they'll take these bees out of numerous different hives where they're producing these packages from. And they just shake them into a funnel, and then they weigh them into the package. So this is what you get. You get a bunch of bees from a bunch of different hives. So what we try to do is get them established in a nuke and get them to where they will pretty much take that nuke over as their new home. One thing that's helping us out is that we were able to have some drawn comb from last year. That's fairly fresh comb. That helps them stay in the nuke a little bit better. That comb's a little dirty, a little jacked up, but that's okay. They'll still stay in there. And we've also put a small frame of honey in. That's a large frame, but that's mostly full of honey. We're also feeding the bees, but they absolutely love to have natural honey and pollen. So what we do is take a couple of frames out of a 5-frame nuke. That way we're able to pour the bees in. I'm going to come around here. I'll start taking this package apart. That doesn't really bother the bees that much. It doesn't make them any more angry or anything to shake them down. Like I say, they're pretty much in a state of confusion right now. So what you do is you take this little piece of plywood top cover off, and you want to hang on to that because you're going to use it again. This is the can that has their feed in it, their sugar syrup that that's what they use to eat while they're in shipping. Of course, we went to pick these bees up. I don't really recommend having your bees shipped to you by the Postal Service or anybody else. It's just, who knows how long they stay on the road and what they have to go through, temperature conditions and everything. So we shake them down, put the can of syrup out of the way, then slide the cover back over. Try to prevent them flying from as much as possible. Now I'm going to take the queen cage out. Like I say, she's at the end of this little black shipping band. So you can knock them down, and like I say, you're going to get some flying bees, but we just cut her off, put the board back on. Now what you want to do is inspect your queen. She's going to come, of course, a mated queen, and she'll have about 5 or 6 nurse worker bees in there to help feed her and groom her and take care of her until she gets released in the hive. Make sure she's moving around and she is alive. See if there's any dead bees in there. Now what we've been doing today, and I don't really recommend it if you're only getting 1 or 2 packages, but we want our queens to get established and start laying as soon as possible. And we also are having some cool weather still at night. So I'm direct releasing the queen into the cage or into the nuke. I'll do that last after I shake all the bees in. But set her to the side and we'll direct release her in just a minute. Now one more wrap with the bees, shake them to the bottom of the package, and then just pour them out. If you ever try to get a pick out of a guitar, that's basically what you're doing. You're trying to pour them as many as possible down into the nuke. And then shake them again, drop them all the way down, and then just pour them in there. try to get as many bees as you can out of the package into the hive. And that's pretty good. Then you can lay your package down in front of where your hive is going to go. And you can see those bees, they like to have that drawn comb in that nuke. That helps them stay in there. Of course, we have a lot of bees flying. You're going to get some bees flying. So we just gently put the frames back in. Being as gentle as possible. And I'm going to try to release my queen kind of right in here in the center of the nuke. Now you might get a little aggressiveness here. Like I say, you're getting bees that are from numerous different hives. The bees that came into this package, they're pretty much used to her because they've been with her for a few days. And they know her scent. Of course, she doesn't have any brood laid up yet. There's one that was a little aggressive, didn't want to let go. But you can see how they're attracted to her scent, her pheromones. There we go. Now you have in a queen cage, she will come with her candy. That's what she eats while she's being shipped. There's a cork in the end of that. Now if you were going to slow release this queen, you would just take this cork out and then place her in between two frames, and they would eat that candy out and release her in approximately 3 days. But since we're going to direct release her, we're going to take the other end of the cork out. A little risky here because these are young queens, and young queens, especially that are not laying right now, are able to fly. And we've had a couple of fly today on us. We'll just have to check those nukes and see if they found their way back into that nuke, or if we're going to have to do something to make those nukes queen right again. So I'm just using a wood screw here, gently trying to get this cork out. Normally those corks will be put in there sideways, and you could take a pair of tweezers and pull them out. We've had them installed different ways today. This one's in flat. Just depends on who's putting the cork in, who's packaging the queens up. Now I'm looking for any dead workers that might be in there. She's in there, she's really crawly. What I'm going to do is pull that cork out, and I'm just going to point that queen cage down in between these two frames and let her walk out on her own. You can see them, they're trying to go out. All of them are going out. She's already left the cage, but I want to make sure, I want to get all these bees out of here if I can. Now her scent's in there, so some bees are trying to come back up into the cage also. She's out, she's seeking dark, so she went down in between those two frames. Just want to double check, make sure she's not still in there. She's not. Those are all just nurse bees, worker bees. And then we just sling them out, make sure we have an empty cage, let them all settle down. You also, if you're installing numerous packages, you want to take the cork and the queen cage and stow them somewhere in a bucket or something. If you don't, you're going to have numerous bees start swarming up on those cages because they smell queen pheromone. So we store them away so we just don't have a big group of bees that are forming out. There's numerous bees. There's thousands of bees flying around the apiary today because we're installing all these packages. They'll find a home tonight as the sun goes down. They'll go into one of these hives and drift in, and then if they can stay in there overnight, they'll get used to that hive and orient themselves before they take their first flight, and then they'll do an orientation flight. And they'll come back to that hive or that nuke. You can see we've got a good box of bees here. That's about 3 pounds of bees that are in a 5-frame nuke. That's plenty of bees to get started, especially if you have drawn comb. Then we just gently slide the lid back on, moving bees out of the way as we can. and they're installed. You want to feed your bees right away. Now I've got a frame of honey in here, and that would be enough for them to eat until they can start collecting. But we're early in the year, not a real nectar flow going on right now, so we will put feed on top of this hive. When you get them installed, place them where they're going to set permanently. Then just lay your package in front of the entrance. That way, if there's any straggler bees in that package, they'll walk up in there as the sun starts going down, the day starts ending. They'll settle into that package in the nuke really quick. Once it starts to slow drip, then you just lay that over your hole in the top of the lid. These are migratory lids, and they will come up from underneath and are able to take up that syrup.
And put your bricks on.
Let me put a brick on. I'll put a strap around these nukes also for wind. The brick is not enough to hold that pail up there, especially as it gets empty. They start taking the feed down. They get too light in a windstorm, it'll knock those off. So I'll use a little strap, but I'll strap the whole nuke together to the pallet, and that's an install. That lid's warped. You don't want to go back into these bees for about 4 days. Just leave them alone. They're going to fly, they're going to drift. You're going to have worker bees leave one nuke and go into another one. They will, sooner or later, they will settle down and take up residence in their individual nukes. And by about that time, the queens will start laying. You want to look for eggs, and like I said, about 4 to 7 days. She may not lay. It may take her a little longer to start laying. It may take 2 weeks. If after 2 weeks, though, you go into an inspection on the 14th day, if she's not laying eggs, if you see no eggs, and if you cannot find the queen, even if she's in there, you should probably consider requeening that nuke or that hive. The name of the game right now is to get her laying eggs and getting brood started as quick as possible. One of the reasons why I'm direct releasing these queens with drawn comb, I'm hoping I can come out here in 3 to 4 days and find eggs in these nukes. And when we do another inspection, we'll sure video that and bring you guys along and let you see a first inspection of a freshly installed package of bees.